you talk about a red warning, but there's amber warnings virtually through the spine, really, of England. A little bit of Wales included in that as well, where rain is going to accumulate in exactly the same way. So I would expect that we're going to see severe floods, not just in the areas that have been highlighted red, but also the amber areas.
Police Scotland have been confirming that a woman's body was found after she was swept into the water of Lee in Angus. A red weather warning, should I say, has come into force in parts of eastern Scotland, and Perth and Kinross, Dundee, Angus and South Aberdeenshire. They're all included in the most severe alert caused by Storm Babet. Let's speak to Jim Dale, Senior Meteorological Consultant and Head of British Weather Services. Jim, when we speak, it usually means there's pretty bad news. Either it's too hot, too cold or too wet. Tragic news there about the woman who was swept away, and this underlines the fact that this is a serious weather event. We've had a few this year, but how would you rank this one? How serious?
Yeah, it's at the top. You don't get a red warning very often. The last one back in February 2022, Storm Dennis produced that one. But this is all about the rain more than it is the wind. I'm not knocking the wind. I think the wind's in the same areas at this moment in time. North Scotland and East Scotland, particularly, are very strong. But the rain is the main cause for concern. And yeah, it's right up there, to be honest with you. And the other part of this is far from over. This is a long fuse. Babet isn't just coming and disappearing in a few hours like most storms do. This is a couple of days going to continue on. So Saturday morning before we start to see the back of her.
That's right. And apparently more than 3,000 properties still without power, and that's down from the initial 4,000, and concerns that the rivers could rise to 5 meters above their normal levels.
Yeah, the problem with this is that you can get the rain and you can book it down for a day and a half, but then there's a latent sort of time lapse, if you like, that essentially means the rivers continue to rise, so the threat continues even after the rain has gone. Not that we're there yet. There's plenty to come, and I should stress we're talking about East Scotland here, those areas that you mentioned. It's not just those many parts of England and Wales this evening, for example, seeing quite heavy downpours, and so the if you like, the targets are going to move. This is a movable feast over these next 24 to 36 hours particularly. So you talk about a red warning, but there's amber warnings virtually through the spine, really, of England. A little bit of Wales included in that as well, where rain is going to accumulate in exactly the same way. So I would expect that we're going to see severe floods, not just in the areas that have been highlighted red, but also the amber areas, and perhaps even one or two areas that you don't expect. This isn't something that, these warnings are put out there, and I know the lines are drawn, but look, that's modelling, that's forecasters trying their best. Sometimes these things move. So look, anybody who's in the UK listening at the moment, and you're travelling around, or even if you're in your own home, you've got to be aware that these sort of weather experiences, happenings can come and grab you at any time, and sometimes it is best to think about the unexpected rather than what is expected, and certainly not to ignore the warnings that are out there already.
Yeah, and briefly, Jim, we've talked in the past about the need to adapt to these events. This is in our future. Any sign that the government has understood just what this means, and the kind of changes we're really going to have to make?
Good question. I think the answer is a big no, to be frank with you. Reverse gear or into neutral is about where we are with this government. From what they've said, I think we know the traffic that's gone as far as the politics are concerned, but absolutely not. And I'll say this openly, Henry. I'm looking at 2024 going forward, and I think there's zero change throughout the globe in terms of CO2 emissions. The temperature graphs will continue to go up. So look, expect more in 2024. There's an El Nino running as well, which will make things even worse. So I think, to be honest, we're going to be speaking again, Henry.
Yeah, I suspect so. Sadly, Jim, although I always like talking to you, but it feels pretty heavy.
I understand.
Jim Dale, Head of British Weather Services, thank you very much indeed for joining us on Times Radio.